Hi, welcome. This is the second video of our series on the data loading tools. Today, I will walk you through the steps to get started with your first data loading project. If you haven't had a chance to view our first video, visit our GeoNet page for more resources and links. You will first learn how to clone your Python environment and install the data loading tools package. Then we will define our output and target datasets to create our data loading workspace. Finally, I will help you better understand the structure of the data loading workspace before executing the data load. Before you begin working with the data loading tools toolbox, make sure you meet the system requirements. You will need ArcGIS Pro 2.4, 2.5, or the most recent version available, and Microsoft Excel 2016. Open ArcGIS Pro and go to Settings. Verify your product information and make sure you are at least using the version 2.4 of ArcGIS Pro. Click Python to access the Python Package Manager. Under Project Environment, click Manage Environments. The default Python environment is read-only and cannot be modified. To add packages, you first need to clone the default environment. Click Clone. This will take a few moments. Set the cloned environment to active and click OK. Restart ArcGIS Pro to allow your environment changes to take effect. Python has a rich collection of packages that can be used in ArcGIS Pro. Now that you have a new Python environment, you can add packages. Open ArcGIS Pro and go to Python and add packages. Click Refresh to update the list of available packages and search for DLT solutions. And click Install. Review the terms and conditions. As part of the installation process, another Python package, pandas, is being updated. This may take a few minutes, so let's jump forward in time here. Once the installation is complete, close ArcGIS Pro. The Data Loading Tools toolbox is now installed. The next time you start ArcGIS Pro, you can access it from your geoprocessing toolboxes. Another way to install the DLT Solutions package is using the Python command prompt. Once you've cloned your default environment, close ArcGIS Pro and browse for the Python command prompt in the Windows Start menu. Verify that the first line of code displays the name of your clone environment. Type the conda install command and press Enter. The Data Loading Tools toolbox is now installed. The next time you start ArcGIS Pro, you can access it from your geoprocessing toolboxes. The Python command prompt also allows you to install the tools from a file if you are working on a machine disconnected from the internet. While you're still connected, download the file from the Anaconda cloud. And when you want to install the file, type the following command in the Python command prompt. As a GIS specialist for a water utility, I want to move my water distribution data from the geometric network data model to the utility network data model. But before I start loading my own data, I will use the sample data provided with the Esri solutions to test and explore the data loading tools. So I have deployed the water distribution utility network data loading solution, and I will use the file geodatabase provided in the project as my source data model. This geodatabase already contains some sample data I can use to test data loading. I have also deployed the latest version of the Water Distribution Utility Network Foundation solution, and will use the asset package as my target schema. Now, this sample data is ready to go, but your own data may require more preparation before it is ready to be loaded into the utility network, or any other target schema of your choice. Check out the story map to learn about loading your organization's water system data into a utility network. With both my source and target projects, I can now create the data loading workspace. The Create Data Loading Workspace tool is available in the Data Loading Tools toolbox from the Python package I've installed earlier. This tool allows me to match my source and target datasets, and to define a folder location for my output workspace. In the ArcGIS Pro project, open the Geoprocessing Tools pane and browse for Create Data Loading Workspace. Open the tool and start matching your source and target datasets. Select an output location and press Run to create the workspace. While you can use this tool to create the workspace for your own data loading, Esri also provides configured solutions for both water distribution and electric distribution and transmission systems. These solutions come with the Stage Data Loading tool. This tool is tailored to the sample data provided with the solution and streamlines the source to target mapping process. It only works if you are using the solution packages provided by Esri. Now, if I use the Stage Data Loading tool, I only need to provide the source and target ArcGIS Pro projects and an output location. I already went ahead and ran this tool to create a workspace using the sample data from the water distribution solution. This generated a data loading tool workspace in my destination folder. Let's take a look at the workspace generated with this solution. So the workspace contains folders, Excel workbooks, and other items to assist in mapping data from the source to a target schema. Depending on your source data, the data mapping folder contains folders for points, polygons, polylines, and tables. If we take a look at the points folder, we find workbooks for each of the source point datasets that were mapped. The name for each workbook is composed of the source and the target names. The domains folder contains a workbook for each geodatabase with domains, providing a list of all its domains and values. If you want to write custom Python functions to further streamline some of your data transformation process, Python scripts can be created and placed in the scripts folder. The folder already contains script examples of common functions that can be applied in the mapping workbooks when executing the data load. Since I used the Water Distribution Utility Network data loading solution, 2 databases are added when staging the data loading workspace. The Water Distribution Network subset database contains the water distribution sample data from the geometric network data model, and the Water Distribution Asset Package Change database is the destination database in which the transformed data will be loaded. Finally, the data reference file includes the paths to your source, target, and mapping workbooks. In addition to defining the locations of your datasets, the workbook allows you to select a subset of the source data to load and the option to delete a subset of the target data before loading. If the location of any of these items changes, you can manually update the paths in the workbook. In the next video, we will go into more details of how you can use the data reference workbook to map your source and target datasets. If you're loading your own data, you will need to fill out the workbooks to map from the source to target datasets. But in the current example, since I'm using the Esri solution, the workbooks are already filled out. The next step is to load the data and review how the data is carried over from the source to target schema. Depending on the quality or complexity of the data, it is recommended to work with a subset of the data first and iterate through the mapping and loading process as needed. In ArcGIS Pro, open the Geoprocessing Tools pane and browse for Execute Data Load. Provide a location of your data reference workbook as the input and click Run. After loading your data, take time to review the results and verify the quality of your data mapping. My sample data has now been transformed and loaded into my destination geodatabase and is ready for post-processing. Now, for those of you going through these steps with the water distribution utility network data loading solution, make sure to review the additional steps for preparing the sample data to function as a utility network. So in summary, I've taken you through the steps of cloning your Python environment and installing the Data Loading Tools package in ArcGIS Pro. You've learned how to create the data loading workspace using your source and target datasets, and we've explored the contents and structure of the data loading workspace before executing the data load. This was the second video of our series on the data loading tools. Stay tuned for more. Get the tools now and start your own data loading project. If you have any questions, visit our GeoNet community page and stay tuned for future resources and updates. Thank you for listening.